What's up, guys? I'm Riven.
And I'm Talos.
We're the Studley Boys. Welcome to the Studley News Network. And before we begin this episode, I'd like to take a moment to make an announcement regarding our Instagram page. From now on, we will be uploading all of our Twitch highlights and clips onto our Instagram instead of YouTube. So we're just going to leave YouTube strictly news and Twitch replays and whatever future projects we have in mind. So if you enjoy our highlights, you can follow us on our Instagram. The link will be in the description down below. And as always, if you like our content, you can always support our channel by liking and subscribing. It's Thursday, June 4th. Let's get on with the news.
All right, let's do this. All right, guys, we're starting out with the big news that came out. Obviously, if you guys are aware, there was supposed to be a PS5 press conference on this Thursday, but it was postponed. There's an article from Kodoki here that basically says that it's been delayed, obviously because of the riots and the Black Lives Matter that's going on. But as of right now, there's a tweet that PlayStation released saying that obviously they're going to. They basically said they basically have a tweet here, basically saying that they don't feel right at this time to celebrate, and for now we will stand back and allow more important voices to be heard. As of right now, there's no date of when it's going to happen, but obviously once we know about that, we'll definitely let you know. But going into some of the articles that we did find, there are some information about the PS5 that we kind of know is going to happen. So here's everything that we know that's going to happen. At least we think it's going to happen in a PS5 press conference.
All right. The last episode we talked about the controller, right? We already know what the controller looks like.
Yep.
But so far, all the essential details haven't been revealed yet, and they were supposed to reveal it in this press conference.
At least we think so. Like, I still don't think they're going to reveal the price, nor are they going to reveal what the console looks like yet. That's my prediction, but I would like to know what it looks like and how much it'll be, but I don't think they're going to reveal it in this particular conference. I think it's more about the future of gaming and what games are coming out, gameplay stuff, and such as that.
So first one is going to be release date, right? This is surely the question on everyone's lips. When is the PS5 coming out? So I believe it's Sony still has it out. Has it slated to be released on holiday of this year. They said that the coronavirus it really hasn't affected the production of the PlayStation 5. So
the one thing I do want to point out that we didn't really touch on too much is even though it didn't affect the production of it, they are limiting how much you're going to have. So for like in terms of the first year launch of it. So my guess is if you don't pre-order this console, you won't get this console when it actually comes out because everyone is going to be rushing to get this console. So, because the production is going to be very limited.
Yes. And I think we covered it in our last video. Most likely it will be coming out in November.
We think, yes.
Yeah, because just to give it time for a holiday, for a Christmas release. And then the other essential information that we all want to know is the price. I think we covered this already before, but there's word going around that it could be $500.
Yeah, $499.99 plus tax, of course.
Yeah. So according to this article, right, Sony has not stated how much the console will cost yet, but it did say the PS5's price will be attractive to gamers.
Attractive to gamers. Is that what it says?
Well, that's what the article says, attractive to gamers. I don't know what that means, but
I mean, the attractive price will be $399.99, but I really doubt it's going to be that cheap. Like, but if it is that cheap, then hell yes, I'm excited for it, and I'll definitely pre-order it.
PlayStation 3 came out. How much was it? It was like $600, right?
It was. I think it was like $599.
Yeah, it was about $600. So that was a little pricey.
That was.
And the PlayStation 4 came out, I think,
$399.
$399, right? So, well, it sounds like they're pricing it pretty reasonably. So I'm guessing it might be $400. I hope it's like $400.
If it's 400, are you gonna pick it up or are you still gonna wait? Because I know you mentioned that you might wait still.
I'm most likely gonna wait because I typically don't buy systems on release because of some like how buggy they can be sometimes. So I'm just gonna wait just a bit longer for to pick it up. Okay, so next question: will PS5 be backwards compatible with PS4 games? In terms of which game players can expect to play, the full list hasn't been confirmed yet. However, Sony noted that PS4's 100 most played games will be playable on PS5. Okay, so it says here that PS4's 100 most played games will be playable on PS5. So you can almost expect like all the popular ones to be there, but
definitely.
It doesn't look like all of them will be backwards compatible. Just like maybe like the big AAA titles or something.
As we mentioned before too, apparently there's an article that was saying that the PS5 is going to be 100 times faster than the PS4. So that's good to hear.
Yeah.
But actually, the one thing I do want to mention, actually, go back up. Look at the internal storage. It's only 825 gigabytes of SSD. That's not a lot, especially how games nowadays are like 50 to 100 gigs.
Yes.
So
yes.
that's kind of. But I'm assuming similar to how the PS4 was, you can always change out the internal hard drive. So
yeah. To like a terabyte or something like that. I'm surprised they didn't
do at least 2 terabytes. Because I think mine right now for the PS4 is 2 terabytes.
The PS4 came with like 2 terabytes, right? Is that the PS4 Pro?
Well, initially, no. I think it was like 500 gigs.
Oh, it was only 500.
Oh no. Sorry, 1 terabyte for the PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
But initially, it was 500 gigs.
Yeah, they definitely could have bumped it up to maybe 1 terabyte because as you mentioned, the games are a lot more larger, right? Most games are like over 100 gigs.
Last of Us Part 2, it's already confirmed to be 100 gigs.
Yeah, remember
Red Dead Redemption, that's 100 gigs.
Yeah, and not to mention, if you're into like gameplay capture, they take up a lot of space. Like when I was installing a game on my PlayStation, like my PlayStation still has its like stock hard drive, and I had to get rid of like my old Overwatch footage just to make space for it.
That's crazy.
And it was like 100 gigs of stuff I had. So that's
the one good news is similar to the PS4 is you can always attach an external hard drive for external use as well. So it doesn't have to be all internal.
Yeah. The PS5 allows users to install non-Sony proprietary expandable storages. So there you go. So if 825 gigs isn't enough for you, you can always update to a couple of terabytes.
Ooh, the VR. Well, the top of VR.
PS5 support VR. The current PS VR will indeed be supported by PS5. So for all you VR lovers out there, fear not, PS5 does support PSVR.
The UI. I would think the UI would be similar to the PS4. I don't see how they can tweak it or make it better because I like the simplicity of it. Because if you ever get into like the Xbox UI, I really hate the Xbox UI. It's so cluttered. It's like
yeah. So don't fix what isn't broken. I think the PS5 UI is also pretty. It's pretty intuitive. So they're probably going to keep it. Now, going into the PS5 games, there was one article, here we go, by Game Rant. All 38 PS5 games confirmed in development for Sony's next-gen console.
Yeah, so this is kind of a leak of PlayStation Magazine that revealed these titles for July issue. And that's why we believe that these 38 will be confirmed and talked about more, or at least talked about briefly, in the future of gaming for PS5.
Yeah. All right, so let's go over the list right now. Here we go. Here are all the incoming PS5 games listed in the scans. A Rat's Quest, The Way Back Home. I have no idea what that's about. Of course, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Battlefield 6.
That's a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one. Chorus.
Sounds indie.
Yeah. Signy, All Guns Blazing, Dauntless, Dirt 5, Dragon Age 4.
Yep.
Dying Light 2, FIFA, of course,
Godfall.
Gods and Monsters, Gothic remake. I don't know if you've played the original Gothic.
No, I have not. No.
So this should be interesting. Of course, Madden, NHL 21 is there. Moonray, Microman,
Never heard of him.
Infinity Reborn, Observer, System Redux, Outrider, Path of Exile 2. For anyone who loves, what do you call that? The dungeon crawler, hack and slash, Diablo type games.
Quantum Error.
Yep. Psy Hotel, Rainbow Six Quarantine, Rainbow Six Siege, Redo Enhanced Edition, Scarlet Nexus, Sniper Elite 5, Soulborn, Starfield, Elder Scrolls 6, The Lord of the Rings Gollum, Sims 5, Ultimate Fishing Simulator 2, yes.
Of course, we need fishing games.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, Warframe, Watch Dogs Legion, and WRC 9. So, what do you think about this this list, and which one are you looking forward to the most here?
Let me see. Looking at the list, probably Valhalla, Dragon Age 4.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see what Quantum Error is about. If you scroll down,
Yeah.
Obviously Starfield and Bethesda's Elder Scrolls 6, but that could be up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And of course Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. But I think we're going to be playing that on a PS4. But
Yeah.
and of course Watch Dogs Legions will be a big one for that I'm excited for.
Yeah. And most of these games are slated for 2020, 2021. So it's in the near future. But some of these are also to be announced as well.
Yeah.
I guess I'm really looking forward to the Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield, the two Bethesda projects.
But that might not be for a while though. Like
Yeah.
I think they talked about like 6 years or so for Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, that's painful.
And maybe 3 years for Starfield, so it's gonna be a while.
If you add this all up with the PS4 compatible games, this is a pretty strong lineup actually. I mean, this is already a good.
Well, we don't know which one's gonna be launch titles though. That's the big one.
Yeah, but just the games itself are all like they're. Oh, Dragon Age 4 too. That's a great one.
Yeah, I mentioned that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like a really this already is like a good library of games. I'm excited now for the PlayStation 5. PS5 games will be more expensive to make, says Sony. Sony Interactive Entertainment President CEO Jim Ryan comments on the potential increased cost of production for PS5 games. Now, let's talk about this for a minute, right?
Okay.
Now, most games right now are still $60, right? And they've been $60 for like a long time. Like I remember them when they were like 50, right? And then they jumped to 60. I was like, this is madness.
How long ago was that? Was that PS2 days?
I feel like that was like PS2. Most PS2 games were like $50. And I think like when the PlayStation 3 came out, they started, costing 60. But keep in mind when you like account for inflation, right? Mm-hmm. Most games should be going up, should be more expensive.
I mean, a big one too that someone mentioned, another possibility to that, to kind of caveat on that idea, is they can make it the same price, but they might have more microtransactions.
Exactly, and that's exactly how I think companies are dealing with the $60 price point. They're doing like the DLCs and microtransactions. So if you get the whole game in total on release, mm-hmm. It realistically adds up to what, $80 or something like that, right? If you buy the season pass and like whatever day one DLCs that they release,
the deluxe version.
Yes. So I think if they are planning on increasing the price, I would be totally okay with it as long as they don't do any kind of like microtransaction nonsense. Like they just include the full game from the very beginning, from release. Mm-hmm. Make it cost like $75 or something like $80, and you get the whole thing, no DLCs, no microtransactions, and then I'll be okay with it. Most DLCs, they're not even released, like at the launch of the game, right? It usually comes like after.
Yeah.
Like maybe like a month or a couple months
probably
after.
Probably like the course of the year they'll release like DLC every quarter.
Right. What do you think?
To be honest, for me, I would rather for them to keep it at 60. But of course, like I don't really buy microtransactions anyway. So like that to me doesn't really affect much. But if I really like the game, for example, Persona 5 Royal, the game was cut at 60, but they had a bunch of like costumes or cosmetic stuff and theme songs and stuff like that. Those are okay. I can take that, but I don't want like play to win type mechanics where if you wanted to like play Madden or NFL or Madden or NBA and you have all these play to win mechanics. Oh, do you want a 90 character stat character?
Yeah.
Then you need to buy 10,000 of these like points, whatever. That I don't want. But the things I'm not going to buy those anyway because that's not what I want. But the game is still cheap enough for me to buy, so that's kind of like where I'm going at.
Right.
So,
but also like some gamers, they don't even like want to get the DLC, right? Sometimes they just want the base game and then not have to play the DLC.
Yeah, especially if they don't want to play it right now, they can always wait later.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not like that's the one thing I noticed with like game developers nowadays. Like they want to try to cram as much stuff into the initial launch of the game, so that way they can get the most money, most bang for their buck at the launch of the title. But a lot of gamers they're willing to wait. If they'll buy the base game and then 3-4 months later they'll buy a DLC if they want to.
Yeah, that's true. Because I mean I'm usually one of those gamers too. Like I'll wait a while for for like the Game of the Year edition to release or something like that. Like I recently picked up Witcher 3 Game of the Year edition for like $5. So
it came with everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. So this article by GameBytes, Sony responds to claims that the PS5 will be its last console. Okay, so according to this article, maybe it's a little bit misleading. I think what he means to say is like the PS5, like the model, the gaming model that we have now might not be
hardware.
Yeah, might not be the same. With like the release of Stadia and the whole cloud gaming. Direction. We could see PlayStation going in that direction.
I mean, they've been thinking about cloud gaming for a very long time. So I think it's only a matter of time before. I think the big issue with cloud gaming is just the speed of it. Yeah. And people don't have access to high speed internet. It's not like commonly available. Yeah. So that's why they're kind of postponing cloud gaming. But I truly believe that is the future of gaming. Yes. But it's just not. In 10 years, we don't know. But as of today's date, it's not possible. That's why Stadia, in my opinion, is not doing as well. But because it's just too new of a technology. Yeah. And like I mentioned before, not everyone has high speed internet to kind of take the full effect on cloud gaming.
Yeah. Maybe in a couple of years, but right now, I think it's still just going to be hardware based gaming, right?
Exactly.
It's funny, like we're making fun of Stadia right now, but maybe like in a couple of decades from now, we can look back at it and think, wow, they were really visionaries. They were ahead of their time. They just weren't able to pull it off. But maybe in a couple of decades.
Look at Virtual Boy. It was a huge failure for VR, but now VR is a thing now.
Yeah. So we'll see. A couple of years we're also alive. But at the moment, probably not. Speaking of postponed events, let's move on to our next article. The featured game show was supposed to be this weekend. It was going to be hosted by Nolan North and Emily Rose. If no one knows who they are, they're the voice actors for Nathan and Elena in the Uncharted series. So according to this article, right, it was supposed to take place this Saturday, June 6th, right? And they were supposed to feature a couple of like exclusive trailers and announcements for like upcoming games for this year and maybe next year.
Possible rumored
yes.
Uncharted 5, but
unfortunately, just like the Sony press conference,
Yep.
That too has been postponed to June 13th.
But this one though, we do have a date though, unlike the Sony press conference.
Yes.
Future of Gaming.
Yes. The Future Game Show will take place at the later date of Saturday, June 13th, in support of the protests demanding justice and change over the death of George Floyd at the hands of the police. So yeah, this is they're going the same route as Sony here. I guess they don't want to make game announcements right now in light of all the protests and the rioting and the the social issues going on right now in the United States. So yeah, I think it was a good move, and I'm happy that they gave us a date, unlike Sony did.
And obviously, when that event does come out, we will be live streaming that event in our Twitch channel. So if you guys want to tune in to not just that event, but also the Sony Future of Gaming event for PS5, check out our Twitch and follow us there when we go live.
Yep. All right. Despite all the canceled events, there will be other video game related events in the near future.
Now with E3 2020, it was already canceled because of the coronavirus and COVID-19 case and all that. But as according to this article, there are replacement events that we want to discuss further.
Yeah. So according to the article, right, although the ESA, the company that organizes E3, although they won't hold a digital alternative to E3, a number of the game developers and publishers will be hosting their own events and showcases over the summer. Microsoft.
Yeah, we already know. We know about Sony already. We know about Microsoft.
Yeah. Ubisoft, Limited Run Games, and Devolver Digital are among companies that expressed intention to follow this route.
Yep. As well as Nintendo, but Nintendo's always been, I guess, online from the Treehouse. But are they? Is there any dates for all these events?
So here we go. Here's the E3 replacement event schedule. So June 4th, the Future Gaming presentation that was delayed. June 6th, Guerrilla Collective Live.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, June 9th, Steam Summer Game Festival. June 11th will be the EA Play Live 2020. That's next Thursday.
Yep.
June 13th, the PC Gaming Show.
That's Saturday.
June 23rd, New Game Plus Expo. June 25th, Cyberpunk 2077 Night City Wire. That's also like another thing that was like recently canceled, right? It was supposed to they were supposed to have it sooner, but they moved it back to June 25th.
Yes, correct.
So yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 Night City Wire on June 25th. June 27th, 28th, Bit Summit Gaiden. July 11th, TennoCon. July 12th, Ubisoft Forward. So,
the one thing that wasn't mentioned here is the Xbox event, but that's sometime in July. And of course, the Sony event, which is sometime in June.
Right. So, for anyone disappointed with the recent cancellations of, the Sony press conference and future game shows, you have a couple of events here to tide you guys over. So,
especially those that usually attend E3. Then yeah, you can always there's plenty of alternatives and plenty of gaming news this summer. So we'll try to cover as much as we can of these events. And any big news, we'll definitely let you guys know from these conferences. All right, guys, we are moving into Talos Tidbits. Now, this is actually sponsored by two different things. Obviously, if you guys would check out in the description, we do have Amazon affiliate links. You guys check out if you guys are interested in what equipment that we use, whether it be mics, keyboards, laptops. Check it out down in the description for our Amazon affiliate links. And on top of that, like we mentioned before in the opening, we are advertising our Instagram. So if you guys haven't already, be sure to follow us there. That's where we're going to be uploading all of our highlights and clips, and of course any future events. And we'll try to, kind of spice up our Instagram a little bit for you guys. So make sure you follow us on Instagram. And let's roll into our first article here. WWE 2K devs promises a significant evolution for gameplay. They took inspiration from No Mercy and Here Comes the Pain, which is actually very good news. So they're kind of rolling back to, their roots in a way. The next one is Xenoblades. If you guys haven't already figured it out, it was released on Switch. So that's one of those like RPGs that are like massive games. and that came out on Switch, and it's one of the more popular games for those who have the Switch and want to play some great RPG gaming. All right, we briefly talked about this before, but Nintendo has sold and gave us a confirmation how much they sold on their Switches, and it was 4 million Switch consoles in 1 month, and that's all because of everyone staying at home and purchasing this game, as well as those who purchased the games to try to resell it for expensive amounts of money. So, good on you, Nintendo, for selling so many consoles. In terms of gaming, there's actually going to be a new simulator. You can play as the Pope and role play as the Pope in this new Pope Simulator game. So if you guys are into that, be on the lookout for that Pope Simulator game. In Grand Theft Auto news, Grand Theft Auto 6 possible setting has been confirmed in this in-game website. Now, it hasn't been confirmed exactly what the setting will be, but it's either going to be the 80s Miami Vice City, Carson City, Detroit, or possibly Boston, Massachusetts.
Ooh.
Next, we kind of briefly talked about this, but Dragon Age 4 is in development right now for the PS5, so I'm very excited for that title. Next title, we kind of talked about this in our last one, but basically we found out more information on Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered. It will feature a local co-op support, so that's pretty cool. In Pokemon news, Sword and Shield, their DLC for Isles of Armor expansion gets a release date for June 17th. They pretty much feature 2 brand new Pokemon. Some OG Pokemon are coming back, and some more of the Garlarian. Some OG Pokemon coming back, and many of the Galarian forms will be added as well. There's still 2 more expansions coming, but there's no release dates on those as of yet. Reporting into some more Netflix news, you guys are into Witcher. Season 2 is now ready to go back into production. So I'm very excited to see Henry Cavill. So I'm very excited to see Henry Cavill reprise his role in The Witcher Season 2. In other news, Stranger Things Season 4 has also been slightly confirmed. It might be coming out either May or June of 2021 next year. So we'll be on the lookout for that. All right, and some kind of sad news, especially for me who goes to movie theaters. AMC Theaters doubts that it can stay in business. They lost upwards to $2.4 billion in its first quarter alone. I'm hoping that they can still, come back from this, especially from the massive loss due to the COVID-19 and stay-at-home initiatives. As well as other movie theaters out there. And I believe there's another movie theater who filed for bankruptcy. But as someone who goes to movies, I'm hoping that's not the case. But once we know more about that, we'll definitely let you know. That pretty much concludes Talos Tidbits. Like I said before, all the links that I talked about will be in the description if you guys check out. Now, moving on, some more news.
So going into our last article, the games industry on the biggest changes in the last decade. So pretty much, IGN asked a couple of game developers what they think of the most important changes within the video game industry as a whole within like the last 10 years. So
now this is actually a pretty big article, but we're only going to briefly talk about some topics that are interesting to us. But if you guys want to read any of the topics here, as well as anything we already discussed, make sure you check out the description for all the links.
Yeah. All right, let's go down the list. Okay, mobile gaming and diversification.
That's a big one past 10 years, especially with the advancement of smartphones. Yeah. Mobile gaming, microtransactions is a big one in there that I'm not sure if it's mentioned in the article, but yeah. Pretty much a lot of games nowadays, they're free to play, but they have either ads in the game or they have microtransaction in the game to generate that revenue. So that's definitely huge.
I think that may have come from mobile gaming. That sort of just switched over to video gaming. I wouldn't necessarily say that's a good thing, but it definitely is a thing. Most of the games that we play nowadays are they have microtransactions, and for the most part, a lot of people think it's like a plague, or
if done correctly, it's not bad. If it's free to play and you don't charge initially for it, but you still have cosmetic stuff, then it's fine.
Yeah.
But if it's something to the extent of like play to win mechanics, then yeah, those can be kind of negative.
Yeah, yeah, and a lot of mobile gaming's also helped kind of ease in maybe non-gamers into the gaming scene. You know, the power of our devices right now are just really impressive because the amount of games that we can play on mobile is it's amazing. Like just on my list alone, I have a couple of you know, have like Life is Strange. You can play Life is Strange. You know.
I mean, I got like the earlier Final Fantasies. I even have Final Fantasy 7 and Final Fantasy 8.
Yes, exactly. Like Final Fantasies are on that thing now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, digital distribution. What do you think about this one?
It makes sense. Like before, it was all physical. Like I remember back in the day, me and my buddy Nomis, we actually waited in line to get our Halo 3 physical edition, and there used to be a massive lines in GameStop before it opens, like 11 o'clock or midnight, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And nowadays, if you try to go to like GameStop for a midnight release, you might see a few, 5, 10 people maybe, but it's all digital now. It seems like you can just buy the game online, PS4, Xbox One, whatever, and have it downloaded to your console and ready for you to play right at home.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a reason to buy you know, physical copies because like Final Fantasy 7 Remake, you know, they had the deluxe edition and the first class edition. You know, like how many people bought that?
You know, it's funny you mention that because like I feel like developers have to like think of creative ways now to get people to get physical copies because you know digital is so prevalent right now. Like if you don't have a good, I guess, collector edition or deluxe edition or whatever the case is to kind of promote that physical copy, then they're not going to get it. They're just going to go straight into digital.
Yeah.
And, you know, that kind of cuts into like GameStop's and their revenue and everything that we talked about before, as well as like, you know, what's the point of doing digital what's the point of doing physical?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely comes down to all the goodies that comes with the game on release. I'll use this as an example. I pre-ordered Cyberpunk 2077. I pre-ordered a physical edition because it comes with like goodies. You know, like I think there was like an art book in there, or something like a poster and like postcards or some stuff like that. I love that type of stuff.
Yeah, I love art books too. That's the reason why I got the physical copy of Final Fantasy 7 Remake because I wanted that art book. Yeah,
in the past, I used to be one of those gamers who were totally into like you know, the hard copies of the games. Like even now I still collect like an old Super Nintendo cartridges, but like as I've gotten older, I've learned to appreciate like my space more, like not to be like not like having my space too cluttered with stuff. So I've started to appreciate you know, the
digital space.
Yeah, no, I just started to appreciate you know, just digital distribution and the conveniences that come with it.
Yep.
Free to play in games as a service.
Now we briefly talked about this before, like you know, Fortnite being free to play, but it has a bunch of microtransactions.
Yeah.
That's also been like very common nowadays. The new Call of Duty game, that's also free to play as well. So
yeah, and again, this is a mobile game innovation that's like sort of seeped into the video. Yeah, and seeped into consoles. So it's funny how like our advances in mobile technology have changed the way you know, we play video games now.
And if you read this too, like they talked about how it also got into esports as well. Like you if you told me like 5, 10, 15 years ago that gaming will be like an esport and actually watched by millions and millions of people in this giant stadium, I wouldn't believe you. But now esports is actually shown in like ESPN and like big name like TV promos and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
and of course the growth of Let's Plays as well. That's also a big one that started, you know, to kind of showcase like gameplay stuff. And I know a buddy of mine told me about Let's Plays back in when I first started, and I was like, "What's Let's Plays?" And now it's like normal thing to do now.
The rise of streaming and Let's Plays. I mean, the concept of watching someone play a video game is kind of like...
It is kind of weird when you think about it, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like, but the one thing that this quarantine has taught me is how entertaining it can be sometimes. Because like I don't watch like I don't watch shows on Netflix anymore. I actually like I put on a stream sometimes and I just like watch a stream. And you know, there's also like an interactive aspect of it too. You know, like you get to talk with like other people, and you know, you get to meet people who and talk about like games that you guys both like enjoy and like. So
yeah, that's true.
That's definitely.
It's almost like you're kind of like talking to a friend. You know, like if they're like right next to you, and you're just talking about games. You know, just like back in the day, like Riven would watch me play a certain game or watch him play a certain game back in the Super Nintendo days. It's kind of like the same deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like video games have become like a lot more mainstream now, and I guess not everyone is willing to invest in a game, like buy like a new game, and they would rather watch someone else play it, which is totally understandable. There's some games like I won't buy, and I'll just end up just watching a stream or something like that. But sometimes just when you find the perfect streamer, it also it enhances the game too sometimes, because like I feel like some games are just they're a lot more fun when like the right gamer or the right streamer is playing it. So
and not just a streamer, but also the community that's involved with it as well.
Yeah.
Like you can have a great commentator, but if there's no interaction with the audience, that can also make it not so entertaining as well.
Yeah. Here's an interesting one: cross-platform play. Now, this is something that hasn't really been like a thing yet. I know that
certain games are.
Yeah. They started like working on it, but what do you think?
When you think about this before, like back in the day, there was always this console war, like whether it be Super Nintendo with Genesis, N64 with PlayStation, PlayStation with Xbox. Like it's always hard to think that those two will ever like have cross-platform with any game whatsoever, because there's always one hardware to another, or PC to to another console, for example. It's always been separate. So the fact that they're actually integrating certain games to cross-platform, like Call of Duty, for example, Fortnite, for example, like that's huge. The fact that you can actually do that, I think Minecraft is also cross-platform as well. So I think it just makes like the game community that more, what's the word I'm looking for, like
united,
connected. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
I'm not sure if it like. Do you think it's a pro though or a con?
I think it's a pro from
a player's standpoint.
Yeah, from a player's standpoint, because like for example, like I'll use Overwatch since I play Overwatch. Sometimes like when you're waiting for games, you're queuing up for games. If not enough people are playing, it can definitely it can definitely take longer the queues. If there are more people available, like from like maybe like another platform or something, it might help with like those long queue times.
Agreed.
So that's one of the good things about it. But correct me if I'm wrong. The technology for it is doable. It's there. It's doable.
It's definitely doable.
Right, but it's still not like a big thing yet for some reason.
I think the reason why it's not such a big thing is not because the technology is not there. It's because
it's definitely there.
The developers don't want to do that because they maybe have an exclusive deal with PlayStation, so they can't make that cross-platform. So
so it's like some legal issue, not exactly a technology issue that's like keeping it from becoming a thing.
Exactly. Connecting with connection as well, with players and developers, like that's also pretty cool too, because sometimes what they would do is developers will live stream their games before it comes out, so they can showcase that game to players, so that way they can kind of talk to developers, inquire about the game, and showcase the game before those games come out. Also access to like early access Kickstarters as well.
Mm-hmm.
It just I feel like it was hard to do that before, like to talk to developers and like get their opinion, get their insight on how it was made behind the scenes.
Well, it just didn't exist at all like when we were gaming in the 90s, right? It's just the only information you ever got from a
was
video
magazines
game,
or maybe online.
Yeah, it was a magazine, and you don't. Sometimes you won't even really know what you're getting yourself into, unless you buy the game. Yeah, and then you're playing it yourself.
That's true. But like the only thing that we went off back in the day was like commercials. like you said, like
magazines.
anytime the advertisement through like magazines or
Yeah, and then visiting your local gaming store and then just talking to people that know, like,
exactly who played it.
yeah. But yeah, there's definitely like a bigger connection, greater interaction with developers, which is understandable. It's like it's become a $1 billion industry. You want to
Multi-billion.
you want to be able to just put out their game, not to mention the gaming industry right now is just so much more bigger. There's just so much more competition. So like the more interaction and the more advertising the game gets, the better.
And also, depending on the developer, like they can also ask community, how do I make this game better? What do you guys want to see?
Yes.
And so if they actually listen to the community, it just makes that community even stronger.
Yeah, and it just makes their product just a lot better. So I'm all for that. Subscription services. What do you feel about this? I feel like this is this is primarily like an MMO thing.
MMO, but it kind of goes into the extent of like subscriptions at like Twitch as well. There's tip subscriptions. You can also subscribe on YouTube now. You can also subscribe on Facebook to certain content creators you're into. I'm not sure to the extent of like what this articles all entail, but that's what I think about in terms of subscription services.
Well, it says here subscription services. They're talking about like Netflix or Amazon Prime or something like that.
So I mean, there's also like a PlayStation Network subscriptions, the Xbox Live subscriptions as well.
Yeah, not to mention Stadia.
Stadia
as well. Yeah, that's definitely a thing now. Okay,
how do you feel about that though? Do you think it's gone too crazy with subscriptions? Like even even on the gaming side of things, I know for sure it's crazy on the media side of things.
Well, I don't really know. I don't really subscribe to too many video gaming services. Like maybe, like I'm not even subscribed to PS Plus anymore. Like I understand.
Oh, really?
I don't understand. Like I understand why they do it. Like it's not a big thing yet. It's not something that's being thrown in our faces constantly. So I'm okay with the subscription service for now.
And also the good news with subscription games, especially with PlayStation and Xbox, every month they offer some free games for those who are loyal subscribers. Yeah. So to me, that's a plus because there's a bunch of games that I thought about getting a while back, but now they're free because I'm a subscriber for PlayStation.
Yeah.
So there's some perks.
Okay, so we're going to talk about truly living, breathing worlds for a second here, because like this is something I really, really like about games nowadays. How much more immersive they are. Lately, I've been watching playthroughs of Shenmue, and the one thing I've always appreciated with Shenmue is how alive the game felt. Because it felt like I was in like a living, breathing world with people have their own
lives and stuff.
Yeah, they have their own programming. Like they go here and then everything's voice acted. I feel like it's incredibly immersive. So this is like the one thing that I really appreciate with modern gaming is how just much more immersive the games are.
Even in recent it's not as much to that extent, but like for example, FF7 remake, like some of the NPCs that you most time don't ignore for the most part. Yeah. They have these like in-stream dialogues with each other that kind of play on like how their world is and how they interact with everything that's happening around you. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. All right, that's it for the news for now. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for updates on developing stories. If you enjoyed our content, you can always support us by liking and subscribing this video. And if you want, you can leave a comment down below.
And while you guys are down there, make sure you check out our Amazon affiliate links in the description. And also check out our Instagram. We're going to be uploading all our highlights and clips from our live streams into Instagram. So make sure you follow us there. But that's pretty much all I got.
This is Ribbon and Talos signing out. See you guys later.
There you guys.